Hi guys, it's Carissa, and I figured it was about time that I talk about my weight progression. I have some thoughts on it, and I figured that this was an easier way to share than typing out a big long Instagram note or waiting until next month to do it when I figure I will discuss it further, because I am reaching a 1 year anniversary on changing the way that I eat. And I have not made the strides that I foresaw myself making once I got into the momentum of doing a ketogenic diet. If by some off chance you're seeing this video and you don't know about my history with all of this, I will link this video to a playlist of other ones where you can get more information on me and my background with this. But what I do want to cover is sort of how the last few months have been and where I see the next month or so going. And I also want to touch on some frustrations that I have about the weight loss community in general. Did it sound like I said community? So because the weight started coming off as quickly as it did when I first started, and I was so satisfied with getting results that other people also were getting right alongside them, whereas in the past when I'd read about other lifestyles, I would do it and get no results pretty much at all and watch everyone else lose weight pretty rapidly. I felt like I could see where the momentum would take me in a certain amount of time. But life got in the way, and I think that that's something that you have to prepare yourself for mentally when it comes to losing a large amount of weight in, what you hope is a certain amount of time. When the first 20 or so pounds came off, I was still skeptical because I have lost 20 pounds before and gained it right back. And in fact, a couple of years prior, I was part of an online weight loss kind of Biggest Loser type competition. And I lost about 30 pounds doing that. But I didn't really look like I had lost 30 pounds or feel like I had lost 30 pounds because of the amount of inflammation in my body. So this weight loss was different because 20 pounds less looked significantly different on me than the previous 30 had looked when I did it before. And it's because I wasn't carrying that inflammation in my body. I mean, I was starting to be able to see my knuckles. I could see the bones in my wrist and my feet more. And this is only after 2 or 3 weeks of starting the diet. I was already feeling so much better. So I had really high hopes for this. And I'm not saying that I've given up on it, and I'm not saying that I have stopped. But I have plateaued, and I have been gaining and losing the last 5 pounds over and over again. And I know why this is happening. I know exactly why this is happening, and I'm letting it happen. So for me to be successful on this diet, I felt that I truly had to do it in as loose a fashion as possible. And that's one of the reasons why I can't actually be part of a genuine weight loss community, because I hate obsessing. I feel that just about every woman who grew up in the United States in the last 20 years or so, maybe even longer, can identify with having some degree of disordered eating. I have suffered with all different forms of disordered eating, in addition to the fact that I've even become obsessive over being too good. And I think that that's a really fast way to let things spiral out of control or put me in a really unhealthy mindset when it comes to a relationship with food, food in social settings, and food in a private setting when it's just me. I have a really hard time following message boards or group discussions when it comes to discussing any kind of diet. Keto is no exception, unfortunately. You see people who are like, oh, I ate this, is it going to kick me out of ketosis? Or, oh, I went 30 calories over today, or 10 carbs over today, what have I done? And things like that just bring up an instant rage in me, because the whole concept, which you hear constantly, you hear people say, keep calm and keto on. And that's because you're going to make mistakes. You're a human being. And some of those things shouldn't even be considered mistakes, because it's all a choice. No one forced you to eat any of those things. And I know that there are some people who work in office settings or have certain family members that make things more difficult for them, but ultimately it is really up to you what you do and don't eat. And I understand if my grandmother were still around to make one of her amazing pies that she would have at Christmas and Thanksgiving or people's birthdays occasionally, you better believe that I would still fit that into my life. I don't like being in the mindset of, I'm on a diet, I'm eating this way now, and feeling like I have to fret and worry and stress over everything that I eat. I don't think that's any way to live. And I also think that that's a very temporary way to live, because I can see people like that flying off the rails and just eating whatever they want to after a while, and maybe even gaining some of the weight back. Have I been really loose with keto? Absolutely. But it was by design, because I wanted to be able to change my life and eat this way forever. So my 1-year anniversary of changing to this dietary lifestyle is August 15th. And if I don't lose another pound between now and August 15th, I've lost 41 pounds in the last year. And every year prior to that, I have stayed the same, if not gained, most likely gained. And my weight has yo-yoed quite a bit. I was probably over 300 pounds at one point, but I wasn't even weighing myself because I didn't want to know. But my starting weight last year was 282 point something. So I weigh in the 240s right now. At the highest, around 245. I would love to break past 240 and get into the 230s by August. That's something that I would love to do, but I am not going to make myself nuts. And I'm not going to win any kind of contest. Nobody's going to show up at my house with a tiara that's like, oh, congratulations, you broke your plateau. I just think that it's really, I'm sorry, I'm shouting. At no other point in my life that I can remember have I lost and kept off 40 pounds for several months. I think it was February when I stopped losing weight, and I've maintained that. Yes, I've gone up and down about 5 to 6 pounds to some degree all this time, but I have maintained a 40-pound weight loss for all this time. That is something to celebrate. And if next year I lose another 40 pounds in 1 year, I will have lost 80 fucking pounds. Why would I be upset about that? Why do people act like there is some kind of clock ticking and they have to win a race? Is it because they're looking at what other people are doing? Because I will tell you, there are some people who have had amazing success and have lost, they're like pissing their weight off right now. Every single time they step on the scale, they lose weight. I love Suzanne. Just for example, if you don't know Suzanne, Keto Karma, I have meant to mention her in so many videos, and I just haven't done it, or I've had to cut it out for time. But I'll link her below. I'm sure you know who she is. She is having incredible success. She has never had a cheat meal or a cheat day. She has been powering through her weight loss and killing it. But she is a stronger woman than I am, because I don't have that mentality. I don't have that capability. If I have a bad day, if I'm feeling sad, if I get my goddamn period, I sometimes will treat my body differently than I would hope to or ideally do any other time during that week or that month. I'm trying to work myself out of, just slowly and reasonably, some of my emotional crutches. And the two worst ones are shopping and eating. And with shopping, it was with beauty products. And that's how I ended up with so much makeup, because if I was having a bad day, I would think, well, instead of eating something you shouldn't, why don't you go shopping for makeup? But then sometimes that just didn't fill the void enough, so I would end up eating poorly and shopping too. So I would spend all that money on the makeup and the food, and I'd still feel empty, and I'd have all this crap in my body and in my life that I didn't need. But it took me years to get to this point. I can't just flip a switch and change my life completely. I think that's really unrealistic, and it's a really easy way to feel like a failure when things don't go exactly how I've planned or hoped. And some days I wonder, if I were to just get pregnant and be able to have a baby, a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby, and suddenly have the family that I've always wanted, would that fix all of my problems? I don't think so. I think in a lot of ways I idealize it to the point where I'm like, then I'd be happy and complete and I'd be fine. And sometimes I really do put all of that on a pedestal. And I think that, if I were to get to that point and achieve the one thing that's been causing so much of my emotional distress over the years, I would never have to buy another lipstick to make myself feel better or eat another slice of pizza. I would be able to just be a perfect human being and live so happily and never feel sad ever again. And I know that that is not true. And I think that realistically speaking, I'll always fight some of these urges. And sometimes I think it's fine to give into it within reason. So I've been keeping that mindset, and that was one of the reasons, to be honest, that I never decided I am going to have a weigh-in video every week and tell you guys what my weigh-in and my inches lost are. I don't have a problem with people doing that, but for me, I think that would be a source of stress and frustration, and I wouldn't want to put it out there that if there was one week where I decided, hey, I am not gonna try that hard this week, I am gonna kind of check out and start clean next week, or just even for a few days. And if it was going to be reflected on the scale, I didn't want anyone to judge me for it, or only watch the videos because they were hoping that I was going to fail. I know that kind of stuff happens. I know that that exists. So it does frustrate me to think that I couldn't have shared some of that with you guys, because I would have really felt like there was so much pressure that it wouldn't have been enjoyable or a positive thing. And that's what I think the main message is here. Weight loss should be a positive thing. I started to find myself feeling like I had failed because I hadn't lost more weight by my 1-year anniversary of doing a ketogenic diet. And then I had to take a step back and try not to slap myself in the face. Why would I deny myself the celebration of having made such a major positive change? I know other people who have adopted this lifestyle, and they have also felt these positive changes, and their lives are better for it because they saw how it was affecting me. How could I not celebrate that and feel proud of that? Because honestly, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do feel like I failed and I should have done more and I should have tried harder. So why haven't I been losing weight? Well, I have definitely been emotionally overeating. I have stayed low carb, I guess is what you would say. I have been eating things that are keto friendly and low carb, but I have not been counting calories, and a lot of the time I haven't been counting carbs either. I'll just eat something that I know is relatively low in carbs and the serving size that I would if I were counting. And then I don't really restrict enough so that later in the day, if I overeat or if I have too much of something that has higher carb counts to it, I don't know, I can't really give you a good example, but basically I've just been overeating. I think that the carbs are what matter more, in my opinion. I have been really good about water intake and really good about really everything, except I just haven't been tracking. I refuse to obsess over whether or not I am in ketosis. I refuse to obsess over whether or not I have eaten to the calorie exactly what I should for the day and no more, no less. I'm not going to do those things. I'm not going to make those changes, but I am going to be more conscious of the choices that I'm making, and the days that I do feel like I'm going to check out and be a brat and be like, oh, I can't do it today, I'm just going to do what I want. I'm going to try and really focus on the consequences of that and how it makes me feel. And if I still feel like I need a day like that here and there, I'm going to allow it, because that's just me, and I know myself by now. I still have my successes to celebrate. I still have a lot to look forward to doing, and I don't want to apologize for any of that. I want to do what's best for me, and that means physically and mentally. I guess one message that I want to get across, if I haven't already, is just please be kind to yourself. Know that you're doing this to improve yourself overall. I just really hate to see weight loss communities that are meant to be for support of people who are living in a bubble of just anger and obsessive tendencies, feeling like they're like, I'm on a diet, what did I eat, what am I gonna eat? And everybody says it, weight loss isn't linear. I'll show you my graph. Here's my graph. You can see I did really well for a while, but guess what? That is better than I've done. I can't stress that enough. I have to just be happy with that and see the things that challenged me this year and that slowed me down, and just respect the fact that I did what I felt like I needed to do at the time, and I kept my focus, and I'm going to still keep going. I guess that's all I wanted to say. There are a bunch of people who have started making keto-related YouTube channels, and I feel like I want to see more of that and just be more involved. So I will link below the ones that I know of, but if you have one and I don't know about it, please tell me about it, because I would love to kind of grow this community and this group of support. And I think everybody's got different things to bring to the table. You can show us recipes or grocery hauls, or just tell us about your week, or do weigh-ins. And I don't know, I just think that that's great. I want to see more of that. I love being surrounded by the success stories and the positivity and the good ideas. There's just so much of that to go around. Thank you for watching and for listening to me yell. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.